Twin siblings often share more than just looks. They share a depth of understanding that no one else can explain. That was true for Saint Scholastica and her twin brother Saint Benedict. Born around the year 480 to a wealthy Italian family, Saint Benedict and Saint Scholastica grew up together, but God would call them to serve him in different ways. Saint Benedict went on to found monasteries for men and would later shape monastery life with what we now call the rule of Saint Benedict. Saint Scholastica, much quieter and unknown, founded a religious community for women not that far from St. Benedict's monastery near Monte Cassino. Because of monastery rules, St. Scholastica was not allowed inside of St. Benedict's Abbey. So once a year, the twins would meet at a nearby farmhouse. They prayed together and they spoke about God, and they shared what the Lord was doing with their hearts. According to St. Gregory the Great, one of these visits would end up being their last. Saint Scholastica felt that her death was near. She begged Saint Benedict to stay with her throughout the night so they could continue talking about God. But Saint Benedict refused, and it wasn't because he didn't love her, but because he didn't want to break his own rule by staying away from the monastery. So Saint Scholastica lowered her head and prayed. And suddenly the sky opened. There was thunder, lightning, and rain pouring down. The storm was so fierce that Saint Benedict and his monks physically could not leave. Saint Benedict exclaimed, "God forgive you, sister, what have you done?" And Saint Scholastica claimed calmly, "I asked a favor of you, and you refused. I asked it of God, and he granted it." They spent the night in prayer and holy conversation. 3 days later, Saint Benedict, when he was praying, saw his sister's soul rising into heaven, appearing like a white dove. Saint Scholastica has gone home to God. Saint Benedict later buried her in the tomb he had prepared for himself, so even in death, the twins would rest together. Saint Scholastica teaches us something profoundly, that rules and discipline matter, but love rooted in prayer matters the most.